What's good, peeps? Thanks as always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. Don't forget as well, please to like and share the vids. Again, thank you so much to everyone that continues to do that. You can also support the channel as well. I do have a Patreon account. The link is in the description. All right, people, you might start noticing a few small changes to the channel. It's true, you might. Change is good, people. Not all the time, but change is good. Evolving is good. The first thing you might notice is that sign up there that says Boxing Talk with Ade. I might remove the boxing part. No, wait. It doesn't mean the channel is not a boxing channel anymore. It still is, but I do want to talk about other stuff. I can't lie to you. I do like talking about football. I do like talking about mixed martial arts. With my friends, I do like talking about other shit as well. I am just a very opinionated person. I know it's a boxing channel, so I guess it would always go back to boxing. I think 90% of my videos will always be about boxing, but I do like to speak about other things as well. I really do. I mean, I've even had email requests from people wanting to come on, I say the show, but you know what I mean, when I put the other chair over there and this one back there and talk about other things. And I'm like, this is a boxing channel. But I think in order for the channel to grow a bit, and I do like the growth, I think the growth has been pretty good in the last sort of year, I do think it would make sense to remove the boxing part. What do you guys think? It's up to you guys. You guys are the audience. You guys have always supported me since I started doing this shit. Can you understand the logic behind it or no? So it might be called Talk with Ade. Ade Talks. What else can we think of? Talking with Ade. I don't know. Something, right? Just not Boxing Talk with Ade. Again, I'm not trying to say that's going to change immediately, but it will change over time 100% because I've been thinking about it for the last couple of weeks. I don't know if you guys, and we will talk about Daniel Dubois, Joyce in a minute, I promise. I don't know if you guys watch the Joe Rogan podcast. Now, Joe Rogan, obviously, if you don't watch it, is a mixed martial artist commentator for the UFC. So obviously, he started out predominantly talking about MMA. I mean, he's talked about other things as well, but predominantly it was about MMA. He's now kind of split it into, it's still one channel, but he has these MMA conversations and then he has these other conversations as well. And I think that's kind of what I'm going to start doing. That's the plan anyway, eventually. So I don't know when it's going to happen, but you will start to notice the change. All right, let's talk boxing. My favorite subject. Let's talk Daniel Dubois versus Joyce. Obviously, press conference was last week. Fight will be April 11th at the O2 Arena. And the sticking point for a lot of fans that the fight will be on pay-per-view. I'm not quite sure how much that pay-per-view is going to cost. I'm guessing it's going to cost, what's the pay-per-view price? $19.95, I'm guessing. I don't know. Although we do know Wilder versus Fury, which will be shown at something like fucking 6 in the morning or something ridiculous like that, is going to be $24.95. I think that's a mistake, but I can fully understand why that fight's on pay-per-view. I can't, and I'm going to contradict myself here now, I can't fully understand why Dubois versus Joyce is on pay-per-view. I say I'm going to contradict myself because a few days ago I said I can understand why that fight has to go on pay-per-view. And I can understand it from a monetary standpoint, in the sense that as much as we like to say all these fighters want to fight each other, all these fighters want to fight each other if they get paid. That's the sticking point, right? So you can imagine Joyce saying, I want this amount, which will be, I'm guessing, high 6 figures. Daniel Dubois, the same thing. I don't know if it will be $1 million each. I'll be shocked if it's that amount. I guess that depends how many people buy the pay-per-view, but their guarantee will be very high 6 figures. Now, as much as I say I understand why it is on pay-per-view, I think it's a massive, massive mistake. I think, look, I have no idea how you build a star. I'm not a star builder. I mean, that should be Frank Warren's job. He's a promoter. He should know how to build stars. Although I do think he struggled to actually build stars of recent. He's got some good fighters in there, but none of those fighters have crossed over to me to the point where they are household names and stars. So back to this pay-per-view conversation. You know, I was trying to compare it to Joshua versus Dillian White in the sense that they were also around the same kind of level at the time. So British level, going to become sort of fringe world level. I think Joshua had something like 15 fights. Dillian White, I think, had 1 more. Joshua had 14, Dillian White had 15. I was trying to compare it to that. But Joshua was 110% at the time a household name, right? Coming off the Olympics, gold medalist, knocking people out. He was being built well. Sponsors were always jumping on his back. He was a household name. And also it had this fantastic animosity with Dillian White. So I could fully understand why that was chucked on pay-per-view. Plus, and I just had a check on this now because I completely forgot, the undercard was stacked. Kevin Mitchell was on the undercard. Chris Eubank Jr. was on the undercard. Chisora was on the undercard. Tony Bellew was on the undercard. And they weren't on the undercard fighting bums. Decent fights. Decent fights as well. So that made sense for me as a pay-per-view. That was Joshua's first pay-per-view event. Joshua was already a star, already selling out venues, already a big ticket seller. That can't be said about Daniel Dubois versus Joe Joyce. It can't be, right? I mean, neither are selling out venues, neither are stars, neither are household names. So for me, the smart thing to do, and look, they're going to take a hit on it if they were to do this, you've got to put that one on normal BT Sports. You've got to. You can't put another paywall in front of it. You can't do it. It doesn't make any sense. In order to build Dubois, and this is what this fight's about, by the way, Frank Warren will be fucking praying to God Dubois beats Joyce, right? Because Dubois is his next superstar. In order to build Dubois, you need as many eyes on him as humanly possible. You just do. You don't need to be putting it behind another paywall. Let's not forget, BT Sports is already a paywall. And now you're putting another paywall in front of that? It makes no sense. Again, if these guys were both household names, if these guys were both selling out venues, or even if one of them was doing this, then okay, that's the next step. The next step is pay-per-view. It isn't the case. It isn't the case at all. Daniel Dubois is fighting at the Copper Box, not doing great numbers. He's not. It's not selling out. I mean, even if it is selling out, what's the Copper Box? 7,000? Something like that? I mean, Joe Joyce, let's be honest, it's not doing nothing much in terms of, again, this is not discrediting their boxing ability. I'm talking about their ability to sell tickets and get the casual fans in. It just isn't there. So why put that behind another paywall? Sometimes you've got to take a hit in order to grow something. You've just got to take a hit. And I think this is the perfect opportunity to take a hit, get as many eyeballs invested in this fight as possible, and then his next fight, chuck it on pay-per-view. His next fight. You don't want to do it with this one. You don't. And look, you can put them on every crappy morning show in Great Britain. Both of those guys don't talk. Both of those guys won't talk. Both of those guys can't talk. So those mean nothing. Even if somehow he got some people interested by putting them on these crappy morning shows, and those people were like, yeah, I want to watch this. I want to watch this Daniel Dubois kid. And then you tell them it's 20 quid, it puts them off immediately. It really does. It puts them off immediately. This isn't going to work. If this is how they think they're going to build Daniel Dubois up, and I'm happy he's fighting Joe Joyce, putting this fight on pay-per-view is a massive, massive mistake. It really is. Casual fans, and I'm talking casual sport fans, not even casual boxing fans, have absolutely no idea who Joe Joyce is, have absolutely no idea who Daniel Dubois is, and they're the ones they're trying to rope in. Not us boxing fans. Our hardcore boxing fans are interested in this fight. We're fully invested, right? Fully invested. We're going to give our money over. We'll give the 20 quid over. They're not trying to get us because our number base is so small. They're trying to rope in the casuals, and the casuals simply ain't paying £20 to watch people they've never heard of. They're not. They'll tune in for free. I say free, BT Sports. They'll tune in to watch that. They're not paying 20 quid to watch Joe Joyce versus Daniel Dubois. And this is the point they're missing. In order to make Daniel Dubois a star, a superstar, they need those people to tune in. Those people will tune in, but they're not paying 20 quid. They'll tune in on BT Sports. So this is a big mistake. A big mistake. Obviously, they're not going to fucking reverse the mistake because Ade says, but trust me, this is a big mistake. I'm all for pay-per-view because I'm all for what it means, which is fighters getting paid. But in terms of Daniel Dubois raising his level and becoming a superstar, this just isn't great. Isn't great at all. Peace.